Police in California raided the home of Gojun Shuin and Sylvia Zhang over allegations of possible child abuse. The couple's 21 children, mostly surrogate-born, were taken into state custody as an investigation began. In the months since their arrest and release, the couple has had at least 5 more surrogate-born babies. Those children have also been taken into state custody. The couple is now fighting for custody of all of their children and suing some of their surrogates in the process.
These children are probably being trafficked. There are so few safeguards in place regarding surrogacy, it's really crazy. This happened just last year, and it seems the only barrier the couple had for buying babies through surrogacy was the discernment of the surrogate mothers. How is there not a government tally of how many surrogate children a couple has? This seems like something that should be basic due diligence done by Child Protective Services. Surrogacy is human trafficking. It's rich couples buying babies. In this video, I'll talk about the harms of surrogacy, harms to both children and surrogate mothers. I'll do this by analyzing the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. And yes, I will be relating all of this to the recently released Epstein files. The Handmaid's Tale is about a dystopian world where almost all women are infertile because of disease. In the show, a totalitarian regime claims to want to save humanity from extinction. The regime forces women who are still fertile to make children. They do this through rape. The women who are still fertile are called handmaids. All the rich and powerful men are given a handmaid.
The human race is at risk. It's not rocket science. All remaining fertile women should be collected and impregnated.
And in a bizarre ritual, the men rape the handmaidens regularly. During the ritual, the handmaiden lays down in between the man's wife's legs. The handmaidens are then forced to carry the baby to term and give the baby up upon its birth. Legally, the baby belongs to the rich and powerful families. There are many parallels between the plot of The Handmaid's Tale and what happens in modern-day real-life surrogacy. Before I begin my full analysis, a quick introduction. My name is Mariana, and on my channel I dissect film, television, and video games from a radical feminist perspective. So if this interests you, please consider subscribing. And spoiler warning. The strongest feminist argument against surrogacy is that it's a physically dangerous act done at the expense of poorer women for the benefit of the rich. It seems like nowadays, women's bodies are commodified in pretty much every way, be it through sexualized advertising, prostitution, or surrogacy. Radical feminism argues that women's bodies are not for sale in this way. Men should not have the right to buy access to women's reproductive organs. The feminist argument in The Handmaid's Tale parallels the radical feminist anti-surrogacy argument. Similar to in real life, the rich women in The Handmaid's Tale are never surrogates. And if a rich woman is fertile, she is allowed to be the legal parent of all her offspring. The rich women, as shown here, usually wear the color green, a color that symbolizes both wealth and envy. Handmaids are treated as property rather than people, used and valued for their fertility, and shunned for their intelligence and courage.
Soon you will be leaving us for new homes, a new family. And they won't judge you for your looks or your clothes or your ability to sound clever. They will love you for the blessing only you can provide.
In the show, the rich women are referred to as wives. The wives take credit for the handmaid's childbirth. When a handmaiden's water breaks, the corresponding wife performs a religious ritual, physically acting as if she is the one giving birth. In this scene, the blonde woman wearing white is a rich wife, and she's surrounded by her fellow aristocratic female acquaintances. She isn't pregnant, but she's performing a ritual as if she is, because the handmaiden assigned to her family is in labor.
Good. Praise be. Good. Just breathe deep. Good. Praise be. Doing so well.
This is like so weird and over the top, right? Surely there's no real-world parallels for something this bizarre. Well, earlier this year, Meghan Trainor hired a surrogate to make a baby for her, and then posted on Instagram a picture of herself in a hospital gown, posed as if she just gave birth. There's no reason for her to be in a hospital gown, by the way. People on social media were defending her by claiming that skin-to-skin contact is needed for the child to regulate its nervous system and heart rate. This is true, but only works if the skin-to-skin contact is with the birth mother. Additionally, skin-to-skin contact is primarily needed by the birth mother in order for her to produce milk. The Handmaid's Tale shows the biological importance of having contact between the baby and the birth mother. In the show, a baby is sick from an incurable unknown disease.
There is a reason handmaids are not told when a child is sick. It's far too upsetting.
But is cured when reunited with her mother for a day. The show also depicts the immense physical effort and risk that comes with pregnancy. Pregnancy is significantly riskier compared to a typical high-risk job like construction. To name a few risks, severe blood loss during delivery, infections, and postpartum depression. In the show, handmaids often die or are injured during childbirth. Liberals like to say that all this risk is fine because a woman chooses to do this. Speaking of choice, what about surrogates who change their mind and want to keep the baby? You know, the ones that they made, quite literally using their own blood, sweat, and tears. This type of thing is common, especially given that mothers are biologically wired to want to take care of their newborn baby. The first surrogacy custody case ever in the United States was named Baby M. The mother originally agreed to give her baby up upon birth, but then changed her mind. Her biological attachment to her newborn baby was so psychologically intense that she became suicidal. The biological bond between mother and child is no joke, and neither is postpartum depression. Still, the courts would not grant her custody, and the affluent family kept the baby. So much for choice.
You know, you have to burp her when she's halfway through feeding.
I know.
Otherwise, she'll fuss and she'll spit it all up.
I understand.
Don't you?
Of Warren?
It's nice to be out.
She could use an extra blanket.
She's quiet now, finally. She's fine.
Now let's talk about why men specifically should not have the ability to buy babies. Well, for one thing, according to the FBI website, men commit 99.1% of rape, with a similar percentage for pedophilia. Epstein allegedly forced a teen to be his and Ghislaine's surrogate, as seen in the Epstein files. On a separate document in the Epstein files, a young teen writes about giving birth to a baby and being forced to give it to Epstein. She writes, quote, "I saw between her fingers this tiny head and body in the doctor's hands. It reached its tiny arm up and had a tiny foot. I closed my eyes and no more. In the hall, Ghislaine said she was beautiful. She was, not is. She was a beautiful girl. I heard her. Where is she? Why did she stop whimpering? She was born. I heard the tiny cries. I can't do this anymore." Can you imagine the horrors that would ensue if men like Epstein had unlimited access to surrogates? Oh wait, that's already happening everywhere. Just last year, a sex offender in Pennsylvania named Brandon Keith Riley Mitchell was able to legally adopt a child through surrogacy. He was texting a minor and was convicted of possession of child porn. This is an insane loophole in the law. A bill called the No Surrogacy for Sex Offenders Act was introduced in November 2025, but has not been made into law yet. So you know, if you live in the States, contact your representative. A Republican congresswoman introduced this bill. Shocker. However, Democrats have been more vocal than Republicans lately regarding child safeguarding because the Epstein files implicates a lot of powerful MAGA politicians. So even if you live in a state that leans Democrat, it's still worth contacting your representative to support the bill. There's a reason why men are biologically gatekept from childbirth by nature. It's because they are more dangerous, creepy, and care less about children. A man shouldn't have the right to buy a child, whether that man is a single father or a gay male. I guess surrogacy is another example of how gay male couples exploit women for their own gains. Adoption is another option, though in my opinion, the background checks for men who adopt should be stricter than they currently are. Elon Musk's concubine, Grimes, who has hired a surrogate, took surrogacy even further and expressed support for the creation of artificial wombs. Again, can you imagine how horrible it would be if the wrong people got access to this technology? As a female, I get that having a biological clock is stressful. It's stressful being afraid of not finding a partner in time to have a biological child. But child safeguarding is more important than your stress. All surrogacy should be illegal to protect children and to encourage the adoption of the many homeless children in need of a safe home. And obviously, this should be said, that those safe and responsible families that choose to adopt deserve praise for doing so. They earned the right to be called parents by working hard to care for a disadvantaged child in need, which is completely different than paying for the creation of a baby. Back to the TV show. The Handmaid's Tale's plot was overall very anti-surrogacy, so you would think that Margaret Atwood, the author of the book that the show is based on, has anti-surrogacy views. You would think that she would be extremely outspoken about the anti-feminism of surrogacy. Unfortunately, there have been crickets. She said nothing. In fact, in later seasons, the show changes tone and tries to portray one of the rich wives as a real mother to the baby she stole.
She isn't mine.
Serena. Only a mother could do what you did.
Sure, she helped save the baby by not snitching on the resistance, but other than that, she just held the baby a couple of times. She didn't really do much. Being anti-surrogacy is politically incorrect because gay males benefit from surrogacy. It seems to me that Atwood was afraid of angering the liberal woke mob. Calling the rich wife a real mother seemed like a cop-out.
I've worked with many wives and handmaids. This part is always hard.
Mothers. Mothers and handmaids.
Some additional, more miscellaneous criticism. In one of the plot lines, the show implies that it's fine for single mothers to feed their children a bag of potato chips for lunch and McDonald's as dinner every night because we aren't allowed to judge busy single mothers whatsoever.
Are you hungry, honey?
A little.
Bag of potato chips. That's what she packed for us lunch.
Hey, buddy. Hey.
We were starting to worry.
I got held up at work and I got here as fast as I could. I'm so sorry.
He's hungry.
We can stop at a drive-thru on the way home, buddy, okay?
Well, we had McDonald's last night.
This is irresponsible parenting, though, and should be criticized. I'm not saying that it's easy to prepare affordable, healthy meals every day, but it's certainly possible. And feeding your child nutritious meals every day is literally one of the most basic, primary tasks of a mother. Even if it means staying up late cooking, this is required. The child should not have been outright taken away from his mother like in the TV show, but neglectful parents should be criticized, whether it's a parent from a two-parent household or a single mother. My biggest criticism of the show, however, is how slow it is. Several times every episode, there will be at least 5 to 10 minutes of the main character just looking sad with nothing else happening in the plot, to the point where it's unwatchable. Also, because it was a liberal-leaning, politics-heavy show, it tended to be predictable and easy to guess the outcomes because they make most straight white men evil and most minorities good. You could also tell that the show was popular around the time Hillary Clinton was running for president, as there are a lot of cheesy girl boss quotes. This makes the show feel outdated rather than a timeless classic. Additionally, there's too much plot armor. In multiple scenes, none of the main characters die even though they're about to be executed. Also, the show feels defeatist. Like, no matter what the characters do, they always lose. The only time the good guys win is once at the end of each season, which is again, predictable. The main character can sometimes come off as the annoyingly incompetent type of TV character that walks towards the scary noise in a horror movie. She escapes so many times, only to be caught in the most silly ways imaginable. One time, she literally escapes to an abandoned area, gets into a working car, but isn't able to figure out how to open a garage door, which eventually causes her to be captured again. At this time, she had a large loaded gun, a house full of items and tools, a radio with signal to Canada, and a full day to figure out what to do. This is so over the line. The Handmaid's Tale does an excellent job at detailing the biological realities of women. It showed that women are oppressed because of biology rather than some retarded notion of gender identity. There's no pandering to trans activists. Everyone with a womb is a woman, and all women are disadvantaged because of their biology. For that, this show deserves the utmost praise. Though, in a way, this made the poorly paced plot and woke pandering that much more disappointing. I am so tired of Hollywood turning women's media into slop. Like, sure, there's a lot of female libtards out there, but there are many women who are smart enough to recognize when media is poorly made. Most of my audience is female, according to my channel analytics, so I know there's a lot of women out there who feel the same way about movies. I think women deserve better and shouldn't be treated like easily entertained idiots. Anyways, thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel. I know it's been a while since my last upload. I've been applying to law school, which is a lot of work. I had to study for and take the LSATs, get recommendation letters, write admissions essays, research schools, etc. Law school is pricey, so if you want to donate and help support me, I've set up a crowdfund where you can— just kidding, I don't need you. It turns out I got a scholarship on in-state tuition.
What, like it's hard?
I probably won't even have to pay a third of the typical price of law school, so I guess I don't have to influencer beg. Anyway, not sure if I'll end up going because there are other things I need to consider, but yeah, that's where I've been. If I do end up going, in my free time when I'm not suing people, I would use my degree to defend underprivileged women for free. Right now, there's mostly only two choices women have: Republican lawyers or liberal feminist lawyers. It would be useful to have a radical feminist lawyer. I would defend lesbian spaces and events. I would also advocate for biological women who have been assaulted by transgender women, aka men. Because surrogacy is unfortunately still legal, I could also help surrogate mothers draft contracts that give them more agency. Not sure when my next video will be, but I'll eventually make one. If I end up pursuing a law degree, it'll be worth the gap in content. See you in the next video.